Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and today we're going to talk about the second layer of the career freedom pyramid, which is surviving. Okay, so on our last video, we talked about the struggling mindset. We talked about, people who are basically at the bottom of the barrel. They're struggling with their mindset, they're struggling with their finances, they're struggling with the job they hate, and they're trapped in a victimhood mindset, and they're trapped in not doing the things that they could do and building, a valuable skill that's going to help them move forward. So now we're talking about the surviving layer. So people in the surviving layer have gotten out of the struggling layer. They've built a valuable skill. They've found a way to go and do something that allows them to add value to some company or some group of people, and they're getting by, right? They generally tend to be in something where they find their job unfulfilling, right? It's not ideal, but it's not toxic. It's not sapping their life force on a daily basis. Financially, they're either going to be in a place where they have a basic level of financial security, not enough to really feel like they're prospering, but enough that they know they're going to pay their bills most of the time. There may be some degree of financial uncertainty if there's a big expense or whatever. But they generally are in that lower end of financial security or that upper end of financial uncertainty. And then mentally, they tend to be in what I call a fragmented mindset, which means that they're not dealing with excessive mental health challenges. They're not in a point where they get triggered and can't function for the rest of the day or anything. But they're not if you give them a project or a personal development thing that takes a month or 2 months or whatever, they very well might not finish it, right? They may get distracted, lose focus, all other stuff comes up. There's always these distractions in life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so the main thing that's driving somebody who's in the surviving mindset is obedience. Right? So they're really in this belief that, hey, listen, if I do what I'm supposed to do at work, if I do what I should do, if I do what society has told me to do, then I can get by and I can survive. Right? And that's what they're shooting for. They want to get by, they want to survive, right? And so they're doing what they believe they should do. They're doing what they're told to do. They're doing what all the authorities have conditioned them to do over the years. Now, for them to move beyond that and move to a state where they're, doing better than just surviving, right? Because that's not how humans are meant to live. We're not meant to just survive. We're meant to be so much more than that, right? They have to confront this myth, right? That, hey, if I just listen to authority, everything's going to be cool, right? Because, in most cases, either they aren't aware that there are other options beyond what's conventionally been told to them, or they're afraid of taking that step, right? Whereas when they embrace the truth that we create our own destinies, when they embrace the truth that listening to other people isn't necessarily the way to go, that you've got to find what's right for you personally, that you've got to tap into the aspects of yourself that are unique, and that you can't abdicate that responsibility or authority to anybody else to help you. That's how they transcend that fear and ignorance and get to the point where they are doing more. And this requires especially confronting that fear, right? That's hard, right? It's one thing for somebody to say, hey, this is possible, right? It's possible for you to go off the beaten path. It's possible for you to find your own way and chart your own course. Actually making that decision is very challenging, right? And that's what separates people who are surviving from the people who move farther up the pyramid. Now, for people who, on the internal side of this, the toolboxes that are going to be most useful for somebody who is in a surviving mindset is going to be, again, keep up the positive psychology stuff, not like bypass and everything's going to work out just because everything is, and that's the way the world is, and God loves me and everything's perfect kind of thing. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about gratitude, empowerment, like legitimate positive psychology stuff, as well as getting used to starting to learn some of the toolboxes from NLP, from neuro-linguistic programming, right? Go get your DISC assessment, go get your motivators assessment. Start learning about meta programs. Like I did a video on moving toward and moving away from, right? Stuff like that, and starting to understand how you think and moving to that level of metacognition is what's necessary to help you transcend those fears and transcend the programming that's keeping you stuck as one of my friends likes to call zoo humans, just going about their lives as they're programmed to do in a zoo without realizing that there are bars, right? Because the bars are the prison of the mind, right? It's not physical bars, right? But it's an intellectual prison because people don't believe that there's a better way of life, or they're too scared to go embrace that. If you want to transcend that, you've got to start getting into some of this metacognition and some of this other work. And that's how you move from surviving to the next layer of the pyramid, which we'll talk about next week. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's something that resonated with you, maybe a new connection that you made or some information that shifted your perspective, if you found value here, then I want to give you one last gift. So I've put together a free diagnostic that I call a checkup with the career doctor. Short list of questions, and as you answer them, it's going to give you a readout of where you stand on the important metrics of career fulfillment, right? How happy are you with your job and how good a fit is it? Right? Financial success, which we all know, and then internal alignment, which is your level of inner peace and the inner resources that you have to bring to creating the life that you want. Additionally, it's also going to show you which areas you can improve on to get those metrics moving in the right direction, as well as how can we at the Oculus Institute help you make progress. So it's totally free, 100%. All you have to do is just go to www.oculusinstitute.com/purpose quiz, right? No spaces, no dashes, just oculusinstitute.com. That's OCULUSINSTITUTE.com/purpose quiz. And you can take it totally for free. You'll get a free report sent to you. And then at the end, it will give you some next steps of what you can do to reach out so that we can help you create the career of your